Go ahead.
Hi, this is Misha, and you just saw us putting the first rounds through a gun I have here that is an Arsenal SLR-106CR, which I've kind of halfway tried to make look like an AK-102, which is the carbine version in the AK-100 series, chambered for 5.56 NATO. The version in 5.45 is famously known as the AK-105, and the carbine version in 7.6239 is known as the AK-104. These would have, in military service, the originals, 12.5-inch barrels rather than 16 1/4. So originally the barrel would end right here with 24mm threads and then a flash hider booster attached. The Russians would have a conical booster, very similar to the Krink, but a little bit different. The Bulgarians would put on their 4-piece style flash hider. And they would push the front sight back and mate it with the gas block. And if you look, it's kind of interesting. You can see the 90-degree gas block here, and because of this cutout, you can see how the traditional front sight would have looked. It even has the inletting here. So you can tell they literally pushed them together, and there's still some artifacts where they are. It still uses a standard length gas system and gas tube. Shorter cleaning rod, of course, under the barrel. And really the only other difference between an AK-101 and the AK-102 is the rear sight. The AK-101 would have a 1,000-meter rear sight. The AK-102, including this semi-automatic version here, has a 500-meter rear sight. Otherwise, the same. We have polymer handguards with heat shield, stamped receiver, side folding buttstock, solid body, stores a cleaning kit, standard pistol grip with reinforcing plate, and this has a Bulgarian Circle 10 waffle mag in it. It would also feed from Russian pattern AK-101, AK-102 mags, which have a pattern of just horizontal ribs. Now, we have a video on the history of Arsenal imports and going into all that, so I don't want to talk much about the base rifle here, the SLR-106CR, because that's more in that video. I just wanted to show my little project gun, what I've done. The buttstock is the same. These originally come with a AKM ribbed dust cover. I have replaced it with a slightly heavier, smooth top cover from a Russian Izhmash Sega. The rear sight is original. This is the Bulgarian rear sight, but it is the correct for the shorter barrel. Handguards are the same, just black polymer handguards. Same combination. Now, from the factory, these come with a long cleaning rod. I found a short one, stuck it in here, just for aesthetics, of course. And this device. Now, this has a 16-inch barrel right now as they come in. I'm going to point this out to you. It's perfectly unloaded, of course. See, it sticks through. Right now, this is acting just as a barrel cover or shroud. This is from CNC Warrior. It screws onto the 24mm threads. And it is a copy of the Bulgarian 4-piece flash hider. The 4-piece has this core, which goes in, and you can remove it for cleaning. But you can also remove it on something like this, so the outer tube can act as a barrel cover. Now, my plan today, we shot it. It worked fine. We put a couple of 100 rounds through it. Now that I know it runs, I'm going to chop the barrel down to 12.5 inches. I'm going to pin on this outer shell and then put this inside it to give an actual true working flash hider. Now, if you take a regular Bulgarian 4-piece, it's just a little too short. It adds about 2.5 inches, maybe 2.25. So if you put it on this barrel, you would be at about 14.5 to 15 inches total, which is just under the legal overall length. So what CNC Warrior does, they make a version that's a very good copy of the original. It's just an inch, inch and a half longer. So it's intentionally made where when you permanently attach it, it adds enough length to be 16.1 and thus legal. And it's really nice because even after you chop the barrel, you can still remove this core for cleaning and maintenance and to inspect your muzzle, and it just gives a lot of flexibility, and I think it's a really neat idea, and it works out really well because you have an original style flash hider on, just, you know, a little bit longer. I don't mind SBRs, in fact I really like them, but I don't really feel like filling out paperwork just for a couple of extra inches. You know, this doesn't seem worth it to me personally. If it does to you, that's awesome, and frankly if I had more time and money I'd probably do the same, but as it is, good enough. This is my AK-102 clone. I know it's not exact. I know the Bulgarian parts are a bit different from the Russian, but this is a factory built gun and it ran fine. So the next step will be to chop the barrel, crown it, and then pin on this extension. So I'm sure we'll do an update then and you'll see it in another shooting video. But just wanted to share. I know these guns have a little bit of a reputation for unreliability. This is really from the early days, 2006, early into 2007, where the feed ramp wasn't really cut out enough. But that was 10 years ago. Arsenal has long since corrected it. This thing ran fine with Wolf ammo, which is notoriously light loaded. So if it runs fine with Wolf, I have a feeling it would run just as well or better with NATO spec 62 grain stuff, say ZQI. It's just I only have a couple of boxes of ZQI left since it isn't really being imported anymore. So I wanted to test this out with Wolf, and it ran just Jim Dandy. Neat gun, chrome line hammer forged barrel, 1-in-7 twist rate. For more in the import department and what these are, check out our Arsenal history video. We just had this out today, having fun with it and test firing it, and just thought we would share. If you have any questions or comments or want to share your own SLR-106 stories, we'd love to hear them in the comments. If you liked the video, please click like. If you haven't already subscribed and have the time to do so, we really appreciate that as well. Also, anyone who shares our videos with other AK enthusiasts, that's great. I really like that too. Well, that's about all I've got for today. This is Misha. And we'll catch you next time.